Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name is Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Happy Easter to those who celebrate. I have no big plans for this weekend unless you call big plans sitting and knitting for most of the time and potentially doing some yarn dyeing here over in the shed. Apart from that, I'm just planning to take it reasonably easy, which I'm looking forward to. Sorry if there's a few more cuts and weird breaks in the recording today, but because everyone else is home, the shed doors are open on the other side, and there's quite a lot going on here on the farm. So I might have to pause while people come and go. It is feeling quite autumnal, but as you can see, I am wearing my grasslands tank today. Details will be below. I'll just leave a link to the pattern page. I've talked about it here quite a few times, and I didn't think that I would have the opportunity to wear it again, but we already at like 26 and it's the morning, and I think it's going to get to about 30 or 33 today. So definitely a tank top kind of day. But I'm hoping that it's going to start to get cool soon because I really would like to start wearing my jumpers rather than my short sleeve tops. I've been wearing my um, Tolster tees during the week this week as well. So that has been good. It's sort of been that in between, not too hot, not too cold. But I'm not sure that April should be tank top kind of weather. But with the cooler nights, the cats are beginning to sleep on my bed with me a bit more. Not all night and sort of not all of the time, but we haven't even been together for a year yet. So we're still kind of getting to know each other and they're getting their rhythm and their habits down. But I have been waking up to find my legs fast asleep because I've had a cat sitting on me. So it is kind of nice to have that snuggle, but it's something that I need to get used to as well. I think they do too, but yeah, it's been a while since I've talked about the cats, but they're both going really well, and I'm enjoying the company of them when I'm at the house knitting. Quinn decides always he likes to sit like right on top of me while I'm knitting, and also to use my knitting bags as pillows. So um, I have to make the most of the time when he decides to go sit somewhere else because I do enjoy him snuggling with me, but then it means that my knitting gets extremely restricted because I either have to move it around quite a bit around him, or he sits on the bag and then restricts the movement of the yarn out. So once I've kind of used the length that I had, that's it, and I have to stop until he decides to move on. One thing I thought I'd share with you this week, I haven't really been doing anything farmy or gardening or anything like that, is that while I've been sitting and knitting, I've been listening to an audiobook. It's been quite a while. I don't read a lot. I used to read a lot and then I've stopped and I mostly just watch YouTube videos or listen to music while I knit. And because I'm knitting, I find it hard to read a physical book. So years ago now, I listened to the Wool series by Hugh Howey. So which has now been turned into an Apple TV series called The Silo, which you may have seen. I don't have Apple TV, so I haven't watched the series, but I was thinking maybe that I would get it so that I could watch it. And then instead, I decided that I would just re listen to the books while I've been doing my crafting. Because I really, really enjoyed the books. There's three in the series. And um, I kind of thought maybe if I watch the TV show, it'll like ruin the books. You know what I mean? So instead of watching, I'm just going to re-listen and enjoy the images in my own head rather than see what someone else has created. That's happened with a few things that I have read or listened to and then gone to watch the show, and it's just been a real disappointment. So that's what I've decided to do. So as I said, I've gotten back into dyeing yarn again. There's a bit more water in the tanks, and I do need to start doing prep for the Kyneton and Mornington All About Fibre and Yarn markets that are in May, and then the Victorian Hand Knitters Guild market at the Coburg, excuse me, at the Coburg Town Hall, which is in June. So I need to make sure that I am prepared and ready for both of those. So I've gone through all of the colorways that sold over the previous markets, and I have dyed up some all-time favorites, things that have sold out and things where I need to sort of fill the gaps. Wrote a list of all of those. I've dyed a few colors this week. I did some olive. It's coming out a little bit blue on the screen, but it's in light olive green. And I did fuchsia, which hasn't been dyed for a long time, and it's one of my very first colorways, and I still love it very, very much. And snozberries. And then I decided to try a new colorway and just play around a little bit. And I came up with this, which is not, it's actually quite disappointing on the screen. It's not coming out quite right. That blue that you're seeing is actually a teal, like a proper teal. So this is sort of going to be probably a better in-person market yarn than it will be a online shop video yarn. I cannot get the color to look right no matter where I seem to put it. So yeah, it's purple and teal, two extremely hard colors to video and photograph. So then part of my work this week has also been to ball up some for myself and to start making myself a sample square, which, that's my marker, so I know my beginning of round. So I am working up one of the bloom squares that I make for all of my new colorways. I don't seem to do it so often with my solids. I figure you can kind of tell what a solid or a semi-tonal color is going to look like. But when I do a variegated, I do try and make sure to dye one to knit one up. So that's the beginning of that. So I should have that done and blocked by next week. And I'm really loving it. I'm just disappointed that I can't properly show you how it looks. So I have more yarn soaking now, more sock yarn. So my plan will be over this Easter long weekend to do some more batches of some of the oldies but goodies, the ones that I need to restock, and probably play around with another couple of new colorways, maybe one or two. I don't know. I've got some ideas. So but I do want to get through all of those other restocks that I need to do as well. So it's about finding that balance, because it's so tempting to just start playing around and just creating new colors and not doing the work of the colors that need to be done. So I will do some dyeing over the next few days. And I'm also thinking about, with some of that dyeing that I'm doing, creating some sock sets. So doing full 100-gram skeins with a 50-gram skein to have as a sort of a different option, matching some of my existing colorways together, and potentially doing an exclusive series of sock sets that's just going to be available in that format rather than being on any sort of other combination. So I'm working through that idea at the moment as well. I feel like I have done a ton of craft this week, and I don't know that I've had an exceptionally more amount of time. I don't know. I mean, I was only working 3 days a week. But even on the days where I was working, I was still coming home and getting a ton of knitting done. So I don't know. I've just felt like quite inspired and really wanting to sit and knit. And I've got a lot of progress to show for it, which I think is encouraging and inspiring. And you want to do more and more. So the first is that I finished my Bendigo socks, 100% finished. They are blocked. I have them still on the blockers so that you can see them. And I'm calling these my Vineyard Bendigo socks because they are in the Dionysus colorway, which was a DK Socks Yeah colorway. And then I have this yellow in the heel of this one and the toe of this one. and this green in the toe of this one and the heel of this one. And they are both my hand-dyed yarns, just some scraps that I had from some mini skeins that I was doing. And I feel like that's the wine, the autumnal yellow leaves, and the green new fresh leaves. So it'll it's sort of like the view that I get to see out of my window sometimes when I'm sitting and knitting and seeing the vines. Loved making these socks. I have bought more DK yarn because now I'm excited to make more DK socks. I'm really looking forward to putting these on and wearing them with my gumboots. I did make a few slight adjustments, changes to the pattern. When I started the cable at the top, I did add in on the knit row of the cuff, on the first round of the cable pattern, I did made a little garter ridge to sort of like start the cable there. It looked sort of so that it matched with the pearl bumps in the ridge. I don't know if you can really see it, but when I did it the first time before I ripped it out because I'd made it the cuff too tight, it felt like that first cable just kind of flowed in to the cuff and it didn't on the rib. So I just made that slight alteration and I feel like it gives that first cable a bit more structure. I added 3 more cable repeats on the leg just to give myself a little bit more length. I did a stockinette heel rather than a garter heel. And I don't think the pattern had a stripy toe, but because I didn't do any other colours anywhere else, I decided that I would incorporate a stripy toe as well. So I made the smallest DK size and I am really, really happy with them. So once I finished that, I kind of got into a routine of at lunchtime at work project, an afternoon when I got home from work project, and then an in bed evening project before I went to sleep. And so I've been getting a bit of everything done every day. The first, where is it? The first thing I'm going to show you is actually a commission knit. A friend of my mum asked if I was able to knit her a cowl in Richmond Tigers AFL colours because she's been going to the games and wearing the scarf and she finds that it falls off and she's just getting frustrated with it. And so she's been wearing a black and white cowl that she had to the games, but obviously that represents Collingwood and so she wanted to have her team colours. So I said that I would make something for her. So I sort of took a photo of the cowl that she had and I've sort of worked out how long it was and wide, and I'm just making up a pattern as I go. I'm just knitting and just sort of feeling my way. I am using, and I don't think I know I do have a tag in here. I decided to go with the Lionbrand Feels Like Butta because she's a non-knitter. The cowl that she gave me did not feel like wool, but it was very soft. And I figure she's just going to be throwing it in the washing machine. It's not going to be something that's going to be overly cared for. So this is, I have the yellow and I have a black. I'm pretty sure that they're just called yellow and black. And this is a 100% polyester. But I just thought that it was the best option for what it is. And she's just going to wrap it around her neck a few times and it'll just keep the wind off, right? So yellow and black. And I have cast on, I think I ended up casting on like 240 stitches, something like that. I was going to do it flat and then seam it, but I've decided to knit it in the round. Sorry, it's a bit bunched up. So here, did some ribbing on the side, and then I'm just going in and doing knits with some texture, and then I've done a little section of black, and now I'm going to do a section of reverse stockinette with the some stockinette through the middle, like so that it sort of like is the opposite. And I'm just going to work it until it gets to the width that looks about right. Then I'm going to see how much yarn I have left. And then I think what I might do is actually make it twice as wide as it's going to be in the end, with a thick stripe of black and a thick stripe of yellow. And then do like sort of like do a 3-needle bind off on my cast on edge to make it a tube. I just didn't want to knit it in a tube because of doing the stripes. It was going to spiral too much, I think. And I wanted to make sure that the stripes went that way. I don't know. Anyway, as I said, I'm kind of making it up as I go along. So I've kind of cast on, and as I'm knitting, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I could do this, and maybe I could do that. And because you kind of get like a wrong side, which is fine. But I think it would look better if it was all right sides. And I think I'm actually happier knitting the long part and then getting the width rather than getting the width and then knitting for the length, which is what you would do if you were going to knit it in a tube. So this is my very mindless middle of the day. Don't even have to refer to a pattern or think. I just knit until I feel like changing colors. And I've added in some eyelets, and I'll maybe add in some other texture. I'll just play with it as I go along. My afternoon project has been the jumper for my sister that I've based on the numbers from the True Stripes jumper from the 52 weeks of Easy Knits, and also from the Bado pattern, a free pattern on Ravelry, which I will link below. I am using Valley yarns in the Latrobe colorway by Moda Vera for the body. I have used another Moda Vera yarn for the ribbing in Ruby, and this one's a wool acrylic blend, and the body is just acrylic. And now I have also added in some faux fur as well. Do I have a tag for the faux fur? I've got the tag for one of them, cat eaten, and I know the cats had started to eat the tag for this, so I think it might have ended up in the bin. I think it's Otis in white. So I'm loving how this is coming together. So Deb has tried it on, and I've did the seaming on the shoulders last week, and I have an entire sleeve. And I did no decreases on the sleeve. It is just knit straight from the body. It's a drop shoulder. I've measured this out for her, and I'm pretty sure it's right. And like once I kind of give it a bit of a stretch, hang on, I do that there. So there you go. So that's about right. I haven't bound this off yet because I was going to get it a try on one more time. So I've just got it on a holder, and I've started on the second sleeve. But I'm really loving how this faux fur has turned out in the arm, and it was a bit of a bear to work with. Really hard to see the individual strands, but the result is actually really cool. And I'm thinking about ways that maybe I could add it into like the collar of a jacket, some kind of big cozy thing with this silly fur cuff collar thing on it. So who knows? There could be some more fluff in my project future, but yeah. So that's one sleeve. I still haven't seamed up the sides. That'll be done once I finish doing the sleeves. And I've started the second sleeve, and as you can see, I'm about at the point where are we? Oh no, I've got a little ways to go before I start the next bit of fluff. And they've matched up okay. They're not 100% right. I just kind of pulled out some really light section to try and bring it back to being yellowish and orange at the start, and then I'm just happy to just go, like, the sleeves aren't close together. They kind of look, it all kind of, goes together. So happy with that. So then I think I'll do the neck next so that she can try it on with the neck and the arms. Oh, hang on. This is going to be a problem. I only have one ball of this pink and I hand wound it. So it is literally a ball. So I am going to have to bind off this or pull a whole lot out, which is probably a bit wasteful, before I do the second sleeve and before I do the neck. That's okay. If I need to, I can always rip it back and just sort of repurpose the yarn anyway. And then my final job will be to hem up the sides. Still haven't decided if I am going to do that visible join with just a single crochet kind of loop along the edge, or if I'll do mattress stitch. Once I've got the neckband on, I think that will help me to decide. So very close with this one. I don't think it'll be finished next week, but it's certainly on its way. Her birthday is the end of May, so I want to have it ready for that. So I think I'm on track. And then my evening project has been my Happy Street. I think I have got another whole coloured stripe done and another repeat of the dark pink, and I'm halfway through the next section of the white cream whatever. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6.5 of the coloured stripes. So I think I'd like to get another whole set of the stripes done. This is how much of that light colour I have left. So I might not be able to get another one of those done. It looks like I'll have plenty of the light pink. So I should be able to get a second one of those, and I might not be able to get another one of these either. But I would like to try and use up all of the Madeleine Tosh, the 3 colours. So what I might do is make one of the stripes that incorporates all 3, or at least maybe those 2 together, and then I'll get another solid one of those out. And I have plenty of the main colour, which is Dream and Colour 2014, February 2014 club colourway. So yeah, the rows are getting super long. I think by the end, I don't even remember the number that I read on the pattern. Hang on. By the time you get to having done 10 stripes, what did I just say I was on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm up to 7 stripes. So by the time I get to 10 stripes, it says that you'll have 518 stitches. So at this point, I still have a lot of stitches on my needle. So the evening rows are not, we're not getting a lot done, but it is so pretty. I am getting tempted to cast on new things, and I am trying very hard not to. And so far, I have not succumbed, apart from that cowl, but that I'm getting paid for that. It's a little bit different. So I've got my 2 current works in progress, plus the cowl, which I'm going to try and power through and get done quite quickly. And then once I'm down to 2, I think I will maybe not cast on something else. I think maybe I should go back through my whips and pick up something else. I know I have, as I said, I was running out of craft bags and I should have plenty. So I think I need to go back through my projects and really look at them with a bit more of a critical eye and decide if there's things that I want to keep, things I want to frog, things that I want to finish, things that might be at a point where I didn't think they were finished, but maybe I could finish them. So I think that's probably the next thing that I should do. Now, next weekend is a long weekend as well, so it might actually be a really good time to sit down and go through that, and I can share that with you here. I've got a big drawstring bag that's full of projects that I sort of removed from my lounge room, where I have a few that my now current projects on the go. And I also have a like an ottoman that is full of unfinished things as well. So, and I think I know mostly what's in there. I don't think anything's going to be a surprise, but I need to sort of open it up, touch it, look at it, and decide what the next steps are going to be with it, and potentially decide on an order, or at least a sort of a thought of what's going to happen next. I also need to find some chiagu yarn needle tips. I do this. They tend to get spread out in bags and stay with projects, or I leave them in a bag when the project's finished, and the bag either gets put somewhere away or it gets another project piled on top of it, and then I still have those needle tips just sitting randomly. But I have quite a few gaps in my sets at the moment, and I'm worried that I actually have lost some. What seems to happen with some of those little cases, and maybe I need to get a new case or a different way of looking after them. But if I've had it somewhere and it's sort of like tipped, and I think maybe some of them have come out and been left behind at accommodation somewhere, or at a knit night, things like that. So I think I need to do a little bit of an audit on my needles as well, and then I can place an order. I know that Liz from Crystal Cat Stitchery stocks Chiagu needles, and she will often have a lot of just the tips that you can purchase separately. So if I have a list, I know she's going to be at a couple of the markets that I'm going to be doing in May, so I can hopefully pre-order from her, and then she can just bring them with her, or I'm happy to just order and have them shipped if I don't get myself organized in time. But I need to do that, because I went to look for, I think it was a 3.25 or a 3.75, and I only had the long tips, and I know for sure that I have the short ones as well, and I have, as I said, no idea where they could be. So I just need to get myself organized, reduce that down, and be a little bit more thoughtful about where those tips are, and potentially take them off and put them back in if a project starts to languish a little bit, because then I want to use them for something else and I have no idea where they are. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you enjoy these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.